I want you to just imagine a rather harrowing scenario for a second.
Okay, paint the picture.
So it is the absolute dead of night. You're in the back seat of a motor car, bouncing violently over these unpaved, just treacherous dirt roads.
Sounds miserable already.
Right, and you're driving 200 miles deep into a dense, dangerous jungle. Plus, you are burning up with a severe fever. Your head feels like it might literally split open.
Oh, wow. So every instinct is probably screaming at you to turn around and find a hospital.
Exactly. But you keep going. You push through the delirium, the darkness, all for one single reason. You're going to finally confront a spouse who has completely neglected your marriage.
Which really highlights a fascinating human truth. It's that moment where physical danger it completely pales in comparison to emotional starvation.
Yeah.
People will endure incredible physical agony if they believe it's going to resolve an unbearable psychological tension.
That is so true. And welcome to the deep dive, everyone. If you're watching this with us over on the Simplified Summary YouTube channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button right now.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, hit subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment below. It humbly helps us keep bringing you these deep dives, and we just love seeing your perspectives on this stuff.
We really do.
So today, our mission is to unpack a classic Hindi short story. It's titled Shikar, which translates to The Hunt.
And this is by the legendary Munshi Premchand, right, from his Mansarovar collection.
That's the one. We are going to translate and analyze this specific tale. It's all about marriage, emotional walls, and a very real, very deadly tiger hunt.
We're going to extract all the best psychological nuggets hiding beneath the narrative for you.
So Premchand is an interesting starting point here, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely, because most readers, they associate him with these poignant stories about rural peasantry, poverty, systemic struggles in early 20th century India.
Right, the really heavy social realism.
Yeah. Exactly. But in Shikar, he shifts his lens completely to the wealthy elite. He uses the backdrop of a jungle adventure to sort of map out the wilderness of a fractured domestic relationship.
A wilderness of a fractured relationship. I like that.
It serves as this masterclass in human psychology, specifically how isolation manifests when you're surrounded by sheer opulence.
Let's establish that setting for everyone. Our protagonist is a woman named Vasuda.
Okay.
And she is isolated. She is profoundly frustrated with her life and her marriage. Her husband, Kunwar Sahab, has essentially checked out of their domestic life.
He's obsessed with hunting, right?
Completely obsessed. He spends all his time far away from home, currently deep in the jungles of Pilipit, just chasing wild animals while his wife sits alone in this massive, sprawling estate.
Which is such a classic dynamic for that era. Big game hunting often served as a sanctioned form of escapism for men of status.
Sanctioned escapism, yeah.
It was framed as this noble, highly masculine pursuit. But functionally, it allowed them to just abandon their domestic responsibilities without facing any societal judgment.
Wow, yeah, nobody's calling him a bad husband because he's out doing this manly, noble thing.
Precisely. And Vasuda has every material comfort wealth can provide, yet she is completely starved of connection. His obsession is basically an impenetrable wall between them.
So the catalyst for the story, the moment Vasuda just completely snaps it, revolves around a piece of mail.
The letter.
The letter. She checks with the estate manager to see if anything has arrived from her husband. And one has. But the letter proudly details this highly successful tiger hunt.
Let me guess. Bragging about the kill.
Endless bragging about the kill. And it makes zero mention of her, or, when he actually plans to return home.
That letter provides the tangible proof she needs to validate her resentment. We see this all the time in psychology. We tolerate neglect until a physical artifact just shatters our remaining denial.
It's staring her right in the face.
Right. In her eyes, that letter proves the tiger literally matters more than she does.
So her reaction is immediate and it's explosive. She orders 2 motor cars to be prepped, she packs up, and sets off on a grueling 200-mile journey straight into the wilderness to find him.
200 miles in those days is no joke.
No joke at all. And I look at this and I just marvel at her intense emotional resolve. To make that trip while coming down with a raging fever and a blinding headache, it shows a tragic, desperate breaking point.
It really does.
She pushes through the physical agony because the emotional pain is just so much worse.
I might actually push back on framing it purely as tragic desperation, though.
Oh, how so?
There is a deeply calculated, almost hostile edge to this decision. She isn't just traveling to the jungle to have a quick chat. She's invading his sanctuary.
But she's taking the fight to his turf.
Exactly. By showing up in that environment, especially in a deteriorated physical state, she weaponizes her vulnerability. It's an act of pure defiance.
She forces the confrontation.
She forces it. She's essentially declaring that he will no longer be permitted to ignore her.
That is a fascinating read. So instead of a helpless victim, she's an active combatant.
Taking it directly to the front lines.
I love that. So let's look at her arrival. It's 10 o'clock at night. The motor cars pull up to a remote dock bungalow in the jungle. Vasuda arrives, but the fever has totally overwhelmed her.
She's completely unconscious.
Out cold. She has pushed herself to the absolute limit of human endurance just to breach his walls.
And how does Kunwar Sahab react when she gets there?
He hears the commotion and comes out. And his initial reaction is sheer fury.
Naturally.
He yells at the driver. The text actually uses the specific term chauffeur here, demanding to know why he would brought her to a remote, dangerous jungle with absolutely no doctors or medical facilities.
He's deflecting.
He's so angry, he actually orders the chauffeur to put her right back in the car and return home immediately.
Which stems from a place of intense defensive anger. His private domain has been breached.
Right, his safe space is gone.
In his mind, he probably views her as this pampered wife trying to inconvenience him and disrupt his hobby. It is way easier for him to be angry at the driver than to process why his wife would undertake such a dangerous journey.
But the turning point happens in a fraction of a second. Still annoyed, he leans in and touches her forehead.
And feels the heat.
Yes. The moment he feels that burning fever, his anger just vanishes. Without another word, he picks her up in his arms and carries her inside the bungalow.
We see a profound realization hit Kunwar in that specific moment. For years, he built this narrative justifying his absence.
That she didn't really need him.
Exactly. He likely viewed Vasuda as a polished, superficial society wife. But looking at her in that motor car, she is disheveled, covered in the thick dust of the road, stripped of all her makeup, jewelry, and vanity.
She is reduced to her most raw, vulnerable state.
Yes. And in that vulnerability, the narrative he built completely collapses. He recognizes that this grueling journey wasn't an act of vanity or spite.
She risked her life just to be near him.
It forces him to confront the depth of her devotion, and consequently, the severity of his own neglect.
The role reversal that follows is honestly striking. Kunwar transforms instantly from this hardened, aloof hunter into a fiercely devoted caretaker.
It's a total 180.
For the next 21 days, Vasuda battles this terrible fever. And during those 3 weeks, Kunwar refuses to leave her side. He massages her burning head with cooling oil.
He forgets the jungle entirely.
He forgets the tigers, the outside world. His entire universe shrinks to the confines of her sickbed.
It represents a complete reset of their power dynamic. The facade of the tough hunter and the aloof wife just burn away in that room.
They're stripped down to the basics.
They are reduced to a fundamental human bond caring for one another's survival. The crisis forces an intimacy that their opulent life back home completely prevented.
So when Vasuda finally wakes up and her fever breaks, she finds a completely transformed husband. There's a brilliant irony here.
He came looking for a fight.
She traveled 200 miles into a malaria-infested jungle expecting to pick a massive fight. Instead, she finds this profound, quiet intimacy in his bedside devotion.
It speaks to a very common psychological pattern.
Yeah.
Overt anger is often just a disguised plea for care.
Wow, yeah.
She received his undivided attention and love, even though the method of acquiring it nearly killed her.
There's a specific interaction between them during her recovery that I think really stands out. Vasuda notices Kunwar looks pale and exhausted from staying up night after night.
He's worn out.
So she urges him to go outside, get some fresh air, go hunting. But Kunwar is actually offended by this suggestion.
Because his perspective has shifted entirely. He feels crushing guilt. He recognizes that his selfish obsession with the hunt is what drove her to this dangerous breaking point in the first place.
He actually tells her he would gladly trade 100 tiger skins just for her well-being.
That's a huge admission for him.
Right. But then a local hunter arrives at the bungalow, bringing in some tiger skins to show them. Kunwar picks up the finest one and offers it to Vasuda. He tells her he'll dedicate it to her, embroidering her name on it in black wool.
It acts as a peace offering. He's yielding his prize to her, attempting to make amends.
But Vasuda playfully counters the offer. She refuses his skin, promising that she will go out, she will hunt a tiger, and she will gift him the skin with the word priyatam, meaning beloved, embroidered on it in red wool.
This exchange is the absolute masterstroke of their relationship repair.
It really is.
Vasuda realizes that to truly secure their bond, she can't simply drag him back to their suffocating estate. She has to meet him where he is.
Instead of demanding he abandon his world, she steps right into it.
Exactly. Taking an interest in a partner's passions rather than viewing them as a rival for affection, it bridges emotional chasms so effectively.
And she goes beyond mere tolerance. She starts listening to his hunting stories with genuine thrill, asking questions, getting invested. By stepping into his domain, their two separate worlds finally merge into one.
It's beautiful. But she doesn't stop at just listening, does she?
Not at all. Vasuda makes good on her playful promise and actually joins Kunwar on a tiger hunt.
And they aren't hunting just any animal. They're targeting a notorious, cunning, man-eating tiger that's been terrorizing the local villages.
The stakes escalate drastically. This goes from a sporting excursion to a matter of life and death.
Premchand does a great job setting that up.
He includes this chilling backstory about the specific tiger that grounds the narrative in the perilous reality of the Indian jungle.
What's the backstory?
So the locals warn them about the beast's intelligence.
Yeah.
It once killed a man who was sleeping safely up on a macal, a high wooden platform up in a tree.
Okay, so he's out of reach. Or so he thinks.
Exactly. The tiger found a long bamboo stick on the ground, chewed up one end until it was frayed and splintery.
You're kidding.
No. It used that chewed-up stick to reach up, entangle the sleeping man's hair, and yank him right off the platform.
That detail adds such a layer of calculated malice to the animal. It establishes the wilderness as lethal and governed by its own terrifying rules.
It's so creepy.
It sets the stage for the climax beautifully, ensuring you understand the severe danger Vasuda is willingly walking into.
So the hunt takes place in the pitch-black night. Vasuda and Kunwar sit together in the dark on a high machan. Down below in the clearing, a buffalo is tied to a stake as bait.
The tension must be unbearable.
It's palpable. Vasuda is absolutely terrified, clinging to Kunwar at every snap of a twig or rustle of the leaves.
Because she is entirely out of her element. The woman who previously ruled a quiet, controlled domestic sphere is now face-to-face with apex predation in the dark.
Then the attack happens, and it is sudden and violent. The tiger strikes the buffalo, creating massive noise and chaos.
Total sensory overload.
Vasuda remembers seeing the massive shape of the tiger jumping up toward their platform. But then, she claims she completely blacked out from sheer terror.
Which remains her conscious memory of the event. The human mind often fragments or suppresses traumatic moments to protect itself.
But wait till you hear what really happened. When the sun comes up and the dust settles, the tiger lies dead on the ground. Kunwar turns to Vasuda and reveals the unbelievable truth of what happened during her supposed blackout.
What'd she do?
In a chaos of the tiger launching itself at them, Kunwar actually fumbled and dropped his rifle. He was totally defenseless.
He was moments away from a violent death.
According to Kunwar, Vasuda did not faint. She stood up, grabbed her own revolver, shot the leaping tiger twice in midair.
Wow.
And as it fell, she jumped down from the platform and shoved the barrel of her revolver directly into the beast's mouth to finish it off. She single-handedly saved his life.
That is a phenomenal revelation. It fundamentally alters our perception of her character.
Completely flips it.
It's a striking subversion of power dynamics, especially given the era in which Premchand wrote this. The wife doesn't merely survive the jungle. She conquers it.
She dominates the very thing that had stolen her husband's attention.
Claiming an extreme level of visceral, violent agency, it's a remarkable narrative shift.
We then move to the aftermath, observing what happens when they leave the jungle and return home. Previously, Vasuda hated her surroundings, treating the servants coldly and sulking in her isolation.
But she returns transformed.
Completely.
Right.
She's joyful. She greets the estate staff warmly. In a quiet moment of reflection, she looks out her window and finds breathtaking beauty in a simple sunset, something she would have totally ignored before the journey.
The internal shift in her relationship and her own sense of agency manifests externally.
It changes how she sees the whole world.
The core takeaway from Premchand's narrative centers on this idea of shared survival. Stepping completely out of your comfort zone and willingly entering a partner's world can reset the very foundation of a relationship.
She could have easily just stayed home and cultivated her bitterness.
But instead she entered the wilderness, embracing the dirt, the fever, and the fear.
Facing the literal and metaphorical tigers of life together. strips away all those superficial grievances. It burns away the petty arguments and reveals the core of your bond.
Exactly. When a couple navigates an extreme situation, the secondary issues fade, highlighting what is fundamentally important for their mutual survival and happiness.
Before we wrap up today's deep dive, there is a lingering, provocative thought to consider regarding the story's climax.
It's a psychological mystery that Premchand leaves open to interpretation, right?
Yes, the ambiguity surrounding Vasuda's actions on the platform definitely warrants deeper thought. Consider that moment of the attack.
The blackout.
Right. Did Vasuda act out of conscious, raw courage to slay that tiger? Or did her mind blank out from terror, allowing her primal subconscious instincts to just take over?
Violently and ruthlessly protecting the love she had just fought so hard to win back.
Did she choose to save him? Or did the primal nature of love leave her no choice?
It poses an excellent question about the intersection of agency and instinct. Does love make us brave, or does it bypass our conscious mind to make us primal?
It is such a fascinating concept to ponder. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Shikar. Thank you for joining us to explore the wild landscapes of love, resentment, and the Indian jungle.
It's been a great journey.
One last warm reminder, if you're watching on the Simplified Summary YouTube channel, please subscribe, drop a like on this video, and head down to the comments.
We really want to hear your perspectives on Vasuda's choices.
Would you have made that grueling 200-mile journey into the unknown? Share your thoughts below. Until next time, keep exploring.